Assalamu alaikum, family. Welcome to Sajdah's Monday morning motivation. We're going to talk this morning about a powerful question that I want to pose to you. Are you afraid of silence? We'll see you all in a few. We'll give the algorithm a little time to let you guys know that we're here and for you all to jump on. See you in about 2 minutes. All right.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judges, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
Assalamu alaikum, family. Happy Monday. Welcome to Sajdah's Monday morning motivation. I hope you all had a really great weekend. I hope it served you well. I hope you had lots of interactions and energy that served your highest purpose. That's what I pray for. I don't know about you guys, but I always pray before I go into a situation that the situation serves my highest purpose and gets me even closer to what I showed up on the planet to do or be, or to whatever assignment that Allah has given me at that time. So that's kind of how I see things. Um, we're going to talk today about the power of silence. And I have a short video I'm going to show you. Before I show you the short video, I have a question that I want to pose to you. But before we pose the question, I want us to just take 2 minutes really quickly here together, and we're just going to breathe into some silence. We'll do it for about 60 seconds and just sit here and take your time and just breathe and become conscious of your breathing and conscious of the silence around you. Okay? All right, so let's go. Breathe deeply, take a deep breath, let it go. Let that beautiful energy just flow through you. Enjoy the silence. If you hear birds around you, just listen, just relax into that sound. If you got the sound of a fan or air conditioner around you, just relax into that sound. If you can hear yourself breathing, just relax into it. You can hear the sounds in your body, just relax into them and just breathe. Take a deep breath and let it out. Slowly come back in. We're going to ask that this show set off our day, our week, to a week of productivity, a week of peace, a week of love, a week of prosperity, a week of being closer to our purpose, a week of being more successful in our business endeavors. My question for you is this: are you afraid of silence? Believe it or not, a lot of us are afraid of silence. We get in the car, we're looking for music. We can't drive silently. When's the last time you drove in the car and it was just silent? You just listen to the sounds of the street, listen to the sound of your car. Just listen to the sound of your tires. Feel the vibration of where you're going, what you're doing, the neighborhood you're in. When is the last time you drove in silence? Some of us are so afraid of silence, we don't even sleep in silence. Most of us fall asleep with the television playing. We may watch something and then it goes to the next episode and the next episode or the next show or the next show. That is literally programming our subconscious mind. How is the universe going to be able to download into you what they need you to do? How is God going to be able to say, hey, sister, brother, I got something for you to do? If it's never silence, you can never hear. So a lot of us don't go to sleep in silence. A lot of us don't get dressed in silence. We got to have something going at all times, some kind of music, some type of television, some kind of something. And I'm not saying that you have to be like that 100%. I get it. And what I do is I'm very sensitive to when I need silence and when I don't. There are times of the day when I take silence. And then there are times of the day when I say, all right, time to engage in some news, or time to engage in a movie or something. I'll tell myself that. Or I'll say, time to listen to this program, time to study. I try to study something every single day, whether it's something audiovisual or something that I read. So it just, there's just different times a day that I'll do different things, but I allow myself time for silence, and I allow my spirit to tell me when I need to be silent. So sometimes after a conversation with somebody, it's worth it to just stop, take 2-3 minutes, and just go into silence so that you reset yourself. Not that the person is bad, but just so that you understand how you need to be reacting to that conversation. What did that conversation come to show you? What is my next best move? Silence is a powerful tool. So I'm going to take a minute. We've got a 4-minute video. It's on the power of silence. And I want you guys to check it out and begin to raise your thoughts and your awareness around the power of silence. All right. I'm going to remove myself from the screen. When the video comes on, I just need you all to give me a thumbs up if you can hear and see the video okay. All right. We'll be right back.
The power of silence. Ladies and gentlemen, and esteemed guests, I stand before you today to talk about the power of silence. Yes, you heard it right. Silence. You might be wondering how silence, something that is often considered passive and inert, can hold any power. But let me tell you, silence is not just the absence of sound. It is a powerful tool that can transform your life if you know how to use it. Silence is not just about being quiet or refraining from speaking. It is about creating a space where you can hear your own thoughts and feelings, where you can connect with your inner self and find clarity and purity and purpose in a world that is constantly bombarding us with noise, distractions, and information overload. Silence has become a rare commodity. But it is precisely because of its rarity that silence has become even more valuable. Silence allows us to slow down and listen to ourselves, to our intuition, to the voice that speaks from within. It helps us to cut through the noise and confusion and find the answers we seek. It is in the silence that we can find the strength and courage to face our fears, confront our doubts, and overcome our limitations. But silence is not just about introspection and self-reflection. It is also a powerful communication tool. Sometimes the most powerful message you can send is the one that is left unsaid. Silence can be a way to convey respect, empathy, and understanding. It can also be a way to show disapproval, disappointment, or even anger. Silence can be more powerful than words, and it is often the silence that follows a statement or an action that speaks the loudest. Silence can also be a way to create space for others to speak. Sometimes the most valuable contribution you can make to a conversation is to listen attentively and let others express their thoughts and feelings without interruption or judgment. When we learn to embrace silence in our communication, we can create deeper connections and understanding with those around us. But embracing silence is not always easy. We live in a world that values noise, activity, and constant stimulation. Many of us are afraid of silence because it can feel uncomfortable or awkward. We are afraid of what we might find when we are left alone with our thoughts. We are afraid of being judged or rejected if we don't fill the silence with words. But it is precisely because of these fears that we need to embrace silence even more. Silence is not a sign of weakness or passivity. It is a sign of strength and courage. It takes courage to confront your inner demons, to face the unknown, and to listen to your own voice. It takes strength to hold back your words when the situation calls for it, to resist the urge to fill the silence with meaningless chatter and to allow others to speak without interruption. It takes wisdom to recognize the power of silence and to use it in a way that serves your highest good and the highest good and the highest good of those around you. So I urge you, my friends, to embrace silence in your life. Make time for quiet reflection and self-examination. Learn to listen to your own voice and trust your intuition. Use silence as a tool to communicate more effectively with others, to create deeper connections, and to show respect and understanding. And most importantly, don't be afraid of silence. Embrace it, cherish it, and let it guide you towards a life of purpose, fulfillment, and inner peace.
All right, y'all. That was our quick, short video on silence. Shout out to everyone who is here. I know I'm telling y'all to talk in the chat, but a lot of y'all being quiet. Good morning, Sister Betty. Brother Lamont. Good morning, Mom. Let's see who else we got. I'm sorry, so many, the comments got mixed up in here. Sometimes you guys know that YouTube is petty and Facebook too. So if you put your comment in before the show starts, sometimes it doesn't populate it. And sometimes I'll see it afterwards when I go back. Like when we were looking at the video, I went to see if there were any comments there that it hadn't populated. So I was able to see Sister Betty's comment. I was even able to see that I think my brother is online. Good morning, Brother Kevin. Assalamu alaikum. But I was able to see some of you guys when I just went to my phone to see if there were any comments that they didn't populate. They can be petty, y'all. So if you just wait at least until the show starts, what I do is I give us like 2 to 3 minutes for the algorithm to catch up. Then put your comment in there, and then it'll be sure to register it as a comment that happened during the show. That's another way in which they measure the performance of your broadcast or whatever, is how many comments happen actually during the show. And then make sure that everybody is liking and subscribing and hit that notification button so that you get a note whenever we go live. Okay. If you are enjoying the content, you can Zelle your support, wendy100m@gmail.com. You can Cash App your support. Look, y'all ain't got to go to therapy this morning because y'all on here. Or you can just hit the super chat button down there at the bottom of the right there. You can do that as well. But make sure that you're liking and subscribing, okay, to the channel, because what that's going to do is make sure that we get credit for it, and you can help us go viral, since the algorithm is likely not going to share some of the work that I tend to do on here. Some of my work in the world of business tends to be a little bit controversial sometimes to the business world. They don't like it when you start talking about taking control of your health. There's certain things that those industries are really powerful. The healthcare industry is one of them. And I just think it's so important that we take charge of our health, our physical health, our mental health. Let's try to eat healthy. Let's try to really work hard to eat one meal a day. Let's try to work really, really hard to get off of some of these bad foods that are killing us. And let's try to be really conscious of the things out there that we shouldn't be eating. And unfortunately, you can't just trust these restaurants blindly. You can't trust the grocery store blindly. You got to look at all of these stores with a side eye and be reading your ingredients and do your research. And if you can go to some of these farmers markets where you got people who grow things locally, try to eat as fresh as you can. Unfortunately, those are controversial comments that a lot of these industries don't like. And so sometimes they shadow ban those things. Also, because we're really teaching and focusing here on this network on how to do for self, whether you work a job or whether you're working in business full time for yourself, whether you do a little bit both. It's very important that we get these mental strategies so that we can navigate this world of business. And that unfortunately isn't very popular either. Okay. Sometimes people either love it or they don't. I know a lot of people who have employees don't like them thinking like entrepreneurs. Me personally, and most companies that I've worked for, it's very antiquated to think differently, I think. But most companies that I've worked for, they enjoy it when people are entrepreneurs, because if you're entrepreneurial minded, you're going to think like an entrepreneur on the job. You're going to think outside the box while everybody else is stuck within the rules trying to, get the truck out of the mud. You're going to think of a creative way to get the truck out of the mud and keep the progress going. So being an entrepreneur is a good thing, but unfortunately, there's a lot of old school people who don't see it that way. But you know what? It's okay, because everything ain't for everybody. All right. But if this is for you, then we ask that you support. There's a couple ways you can support. Like I said, Super Chat, Zelle, Cash App, like, subscribe, share, all of those things. All right. So let's get back into our talk on the power of silence, or just the question that I posed to you guys here earlier is, are you afraid of silence? A lot of us like, yeah, I need my TV to sleep. Sometimes we use the TV to lull us to sleep because we don't want to hear our thoughts. We don't want to be quiet because some of us don't like the things that we think about in our sleep. Sometimes we stress and we worry. And let me tell you let me give you a little technique that if you have a emotional intelligence coaching session with me, I will teach you this technique. We'll go deeper into it, but we'll do it real quickly. One of the things I learned as a certified emotional intelligence coach is to be okay with the silence and to be okay with whatever emotions pop up. So if you find yourself afraid of silence, or you just don't like it to be quiet, you don't like to be quiet in your car, you don't like it to be quiet in your house, you don't like to go to sleep with anything quiet, because there's some emotion that you're worried about or afraid of, I would just tell you, remind you that these emotions are usually fear-based, false evidence appearing real. And so what you want to do is you want to go into your silence, allow that fear, that worry to come up, but then at the same time, ask for the wisdom to overcome that fear, because all that fear is just the lack of information. The only reason why you're afraid is because you don't know how you're going to get out of something. The only reason why you're afraid is you just don't know how you're going to do it. You're worried, like, is this going to really happen? And so if you just dial that back a little bit, sit there and let the silence come on in and let the emotion come in. Go ahead and feel the emotion. But what I usually do is I ask for the wisdom to help me to overcome the fear. I go to my heart with that. I'll say it in my heart. I'll ask my heart, because I know my heart has the quantum knowledge. My heart knows everything is going to be okay. It's my mind that's tripping because my mind can't figure out how to make sure it's okay. And if I don't have the information right now to make sure and to be certain that everything is going to be okay, what I will do is I will ask my heart, I'll ask God, I'll ask the universe, I'll say, download into me the wisdom that I need to overcome this fear, to overcome this worry. And I have that conversation with myself. I'll say, this fear and this worry and this stress and this anxiety is low vibrational. And I'm not going to get anywhere vibrating at this low level. So even though I'm worried, even though I'm scared, give me a little relief. I know you said that the mind travels at the rate of the average rate of 24 billion miles per second. So give me a few seconds where I'm not worried. I just need a little breakthrough. I just need a little relief. Okay? This is what a lot of us attempt to do when we eat, when we're stressed. We're looking for relief from the stress. So we go put something in our mouth. We smoke sometimes when we're stressed. So we go smoke something. Some of us talk when we're stressed. Some of us, get alcohol, pop pills. But if you just take a moment, and this is part of what we do in emotional intelligence when we're working on people with addictive mindsets and addictive behaviors, which we all have. The Holy Quran says man has a need for an intoxicant. I'm paraphrasing. So a lot of us have an overindulgence in intoxicants, no matter what it is. It don't have to be some illegal substance. Could be food. Could be coffee. It could be anything that we do that helps us through a stressful time. But one technique that will help is to sit there and deal with the emotion and deal with the silence. And I ask myself, I will say, I know that the knowledge and the wisdom and the data that my mind needs, so remember that mind is the masculine part of the thinking, that the masculine needs data, the masculine needs evidence. Give me the data that I need, make it plain, make it clear, to help me overcome this fear and this worry. Because one thing I do know, that I'm not going to manifest what I want if I'm afraid. I'm not going to manifest what I want if I'm worried or scared. So help me to convert the intensity of this fear, the intensity of this worry, into a knowing that everything's going to work out and be all right. And then help me access the data that's going to get me what it is that I'm so worried about not having. I know that as long as I'm worried, as long as I'm afraid, my focus is on the absence of the thing and not on the presence of the thing. So if you help me, if you give me data, if I go into silence, Lord, if you help me, give me the information, the data that I need to overcome this fear, I can now do a better job at focusing on the presence of what I want, as opposed to the absence of what I want. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat if that makes sense, and if you think that will work for you. Let me know. This is important, family, because a lot of us, we run from silence. And guess what? A lot of the answers to the problems, a lot of the solutions are right there in our brain and in our heart, but we can't get to it because we're so busy making noise because we don't want to be quiet. Some of us don't have spiritual experiences or good dreams or anything because we sleep with the TV on. We sleep with the radio on. We're always downloading and having external data input into us. It's like a computer. Somebody's always right there, data entering into our brain, whether it's the television, the radio, anything. We got tons of stimuli going on around us. You got geofencing. You got all kind of people, all kind of things going on out there that is making sure that we can't hear good, making sure that we're paying attention to their data. Because remember, you got people spending billions of dollars out here just trying to get in touch and in control of our money and our minds. Who wants to own us? And then what what a lot of times people also want to do is, once they convince us to do something that we probably shouldn't have done, they now want to download the a subsequent set of data that forces us now to use deceptive intelligence to justify it. There's tricky stuff out here. This is all about mental warfare. This is why we offer mental strategies to help you navigate the world of business, because it's just data coming at you constantly over and over. But guess what? The beautiful thing is that we can control the data. We can control what we nurse on. We can control what we have access to. We can control it. And when you learn to reset yourself, you can hear so much more clearly. You can see so much more clearly. It doesn't have to be a long time. You don't have to meditate for 20 minutes or 30 minutes like some of us do. I don't always meditate that long. Sometimes it's 10 minutes. Sometimes it's 2 minutes. Sometimes it might be 2 minutes. Sometimes it might be 30, 60 seconds. It just depends. But don't be afraid of silence. You need to go to the silence to get what it is that you want. And if you're not at the point where you can sleep all night without the television or without some level of sound, then make sure that before you lay down, that you just take 10 seconds. Or when you wake up in the morning, if you're afraid to make it through the night, try to go half the night. Try to go a portion of the night. Or try to go in the morning and say, okay, let me just be quiet maybe for 5 minutes in the morning. But a lot of us go from the TV being on all night, waking up in the morning, to the news being on while we're in the shower and getting dressed, to now some music or radio playing. It's just constantly somebody else's data. And some of us think it's okay because we feel like, well, it's music, it's no words, it's just certain things. But what about what the universe is communicating to you? You are so powerful. You are such an amazing person. You are so connected to God and what it is that He wants, that He decided to show up on the planet through you, and you matter. Through you, and you matter. And you matter so much that He wants to communicate with you. I was reading something, I saw it twice over the weekend, where it said that God gets offended because we don't call on Him enough. We just beg for stuff. But what about, all right, and maybe you don't know how to address it. You know, you hear us using different terms and different things that we say. Universe, you hear people say, well, I call Him Yahweh, or I say Master Muhammad, or I say Allah, or I say God, or I say Jehovah. Just throw the question out there. What's my next move? What's the next best thing I should be doing? Lord, I'm in this situation. Maybe you don't want to say Lord. Maybe you're not comfortable with that. Maybe you just need to say, I'm in this situation. I'm in this life situation with my child, a relationship that ain't quite what I really want it to be. What's my next move? What's the next best move that I need to make that will be of service to what I showed up on the planet for? Because as long as I'm doing something that is contrary vibrationally, I'm going to be sick. So if you find yourself, if you're struggling with certain ailments, certain discomforts and dis-eases in your body, then ask yourself, what am I struggling with? What am I pushing against that I probably need to do a better job at? What do I need to work on? Let me stop tripping. Let me stop worrying. Let me be a little bit more aware. Let me pay more attention. I'll tell you something funny that happened to me over the weekend. Let's see. Mom said, growing up, we did not have TVs in our bedrooms. On our main floor were the sounds of snoring. Yeah. Some people turn on the TV because they don't want to hear anybody else snore, and they don't want nobody to hear them snore. That's real too, right? Whatever you do, I don't care when you do it, you need to find some time to have silence in your life. My grandmother's antidote to everything was get somewhere and sit down. And when you got somewhere and sat down, you had to be quiet. And she gave you a little Dixie cup with some water, and you had to sit there and shut your mouth. I don't care what you told her. Your stomach was hurting. Somebody fought you at school. You upset about something. She was like, get up there and sit down. I learned later. That's probably how I learned how to meditate so good, right? That's why I learned meditation at an early age, because her answer to everything was get somewhere and sit down. That's real. Let me tell you. So I was walking on the shoreline of Lakeshore yesterday, and I sat there and did a meditation. I did a few little bit of yoga, and then I just said, all right, let's knock out about 2-3 miles. I think I did about maybe 2.5 miles. Nothing too vigorous, nothing too much, because I knew I needed to come back and do some other things that were going to be physically strenuous at home. So I'm walking, and if anybody knows me, you know that I have a huge relationship with birds and bees. And my brother's probably already laughing because he probably remembers how I used to sit in the grass and then be crying when I get stung by a bee. And he remembers all that stuff so vividly. But yeah, birds and bees. And usually the birds will come around me. Every once in a while they'll land on me, but it's not really often that they land on me. They just get really close. Some of the smaller birds, like hummingbirds and finches, will come right up to me. I remember I was in the sun one time, and I had on a red tam, and I was meditating before a show, and a tiny little hummingbird just came on the side of my tam and just started poking it like, oh, shoot, I thought that was a flower. And it was interesting because I could see, that it was there. But so yesterday, I'm walking and I see all of these birds kind of perched on like flowers and different things like that. And I'm just looking at them. And I started to, so my conversations with God are about everything from hair to skin or whatever, And so I was having a conversation about hair, and I was trying to decide, like, I said, I'm tired of like the hair straightening and all that. I like playing around with hair for different looks. And I said, should I do something? Should I wear a little ponytail, just kind of rock my own hair for a minute? Do I want to get braids? What do I want to do? And I was just having this whole hair conversation, braids. Do I want to straighten my own hair? Do I want to wear my natural hair? Just kind of, what do I want to do? Just having this conversation. And all of a sudden, a bird came and just ran into the top of my head. And I started laughing. I said, okay, God, you're real funny. You're real silly, because I'm sitting here talking to you about hair as I'm walking and meditating. I don't know if you're trying to tell me I should be talking to you about something else instead of wasting this powerful energy here on the lake talking to you about hair, or are you saying that you like one of the hairstyles I mentioned? I don't even remember what I said, but why you let this bird just hit me in the head? And I keep walking, and another bird comes and hits me in the back of the head. They didn't peck me. They just ran into the back of my head. I was like, okay, you real funny. I don't really know what you're saying, but maybe I'm going to take it that you feel like it's okay that we having this conversation about hair. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue to talk to you about more things, some of which may be very dumb, but I'm just going to involve you in every aspect of my life. And so there's these kind of like these stairs where you can get closer to the lake or you can go up and be a little further away. So I said, let me just go down a little closer because maybe they got a nest or something up there and they just trying to push me away. A lot of times birds would do that in the springtime. Then here come another one, whole different species, just hit me in the back of the head. I said, all right, okay. So I just walked down a little bit and did a little meditation and just had this hilarious kind of banter back and forth with God about you're funny. I don't know if you mean you like my hair, you don't like my hair, you like one of the different styles I was bringing up. I don't know, but I just thought it was a funny interaction. I don't believe in coincidence. I believe in coincidence, meaning that two things coincide. So there's cause and effect, right? And I thought it was hilarious that I'm having this whole conversation about hair and I get hit in the hair by these two birds. So sometimes I'll go to a space and I'll put my hair in two ponytails. That way I can just let the sun kind of beam down on my scalp and get some of that beautiful D3 that's in there. So I had done that. I had taken my scarf off and I had my hair parted down the middle. I had these two braids and so they would just hit me right in the part. I thought that was hilarious. Anyway, family, I hope that helps. We're talking about the power of silence today. I asked you a question. Are you overstimulated? Are you afraid of silence? Use silence to your advantage. You don't always have to talk. Every time the bell rings, it's not your fight. You don't always have to be running your mouth. Sometimes just sit there in silence. Let the universe tell you what it wants. You can get in the car and be quiet for a few minutes. You can be quiet in a conversation for a few minutes. Sometimes you've said all that you can say. Some of us like to say the same things over and over and over again. And really all that's doing is just analyzing data and taking yourself deeper and deeper and solidifying the vibration associated with what you're talking about over and over and over again. So silence is not just not talking. Silence can be powerful. I'm not talking about being silenced when you should be defending yourself. I'm not talking about being silenced when somebody's abusing you. I'm not talking about being silent when you should say something and you don't. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about silence in an abusive way. I'm talking about using silence in a very powerful, powerful way. Okay. All right, y'all, real quick. This is what's happening this week. Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., I'm going to highlight 4 businesses here in Chicago. Sorry, y'all. They just happen to be food businesses and they just happen to be dessert businesses. I don't know why, but these are 4 entrepreneurs that I met with over the weekend, very powerful meetings. And I just thought, just free plugs for them. I'm going to have a conversation about those businesses tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. And we'll just talk about the state of business and what I learned through the interaction with them over the weekend. So we're going to share that and have that information. I'll hopefully have some announcement about something that we're going to be working on together. And then Thursday evening, we are going to then finally go to chapter 2 of the Mind of an Entrepreneur book. If you don't have the book, pick it up on Amazon. If you have the book, buy another one, give this one to a friend. Before I release the next book on business, we're going to go through this chapter. So this week is chapter 2. Okay. Friday morning and Saturday morning, we have our Sajdah morning coffee talks, and I may do some lives this week, just random lives. So look out for me on live. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you follow me on all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, X, LinkedIn, TikTok, fan base. That way you know when I go live. All right. And family, don't forget, support the channel. If you got anything out of this today, like I said, you didn't have to go therapy this morning. You got a free emotional intelligence coaching session. Give a little support. Super chat at the bottom right, or Cash App, Sajdah Enterprises, or Zelle, Wendy100m@gmail.com. All right, family, I am sending you all energy for an amazing and powerful day. May your day be blessed and filled with so much energy. And I want you to go through this day knowing that you are perfect the way you are right now. Yes, you got things you need to work on, but acknowledge right now the perfection that is you. And know that as you acknowledge who you are, it's automatic that your subconscious is going to begin to improve who you are. So you're perfect. You're whole. You're powerful. You are a loving person. I'm wishing you more love than you ever experienced or imagined. I'm sending you peace. And I just see a bubble of peace just surrounding your entire body. And remember, before you act mean, before you take away empathy, give somebody a chance. Give somebody some love today. Don't throw people away. Don't throw a situation or a learning experience away just because your ego is afraid of somebody getting a one up on you. Take a minute to be quiet. Just be quiet. All right, family. We will see you all again. Like, subscribe, and give that love offering. All right, and do not forget to order your commemorative Elijah coin. We are getting really close to the point where this membership is going to have its privileges. And so you're going to want to make sure that you have that coin so that you can get in some of these powerful things that we are going to be doing here. All right. Peace and blessings, family. I love you all very much, very, very much. And I thank you all for your continued support. You don't have to be here this morning. And so I try my best to be of value so that if you did take time out to sit here for an hour and listen to me, that it is something of value to you that you can take away for yourself, for your family, and for your employees. All right. Peace and blessings, family. Love you all.